Hey everyone, my name is Amr Patel. I'm the engineering manager of the Secure Static Analysis Group. I'm here today to talk about some of the priorities we have ongoing, some of the challenges we've been facing, and as well as some of the things that I'm proud of. Lot to talk through, so let's go ahead and jump in. So I'm going to share my screen to begin. Out of the priorities, there are four priorities we have in flight that I'd like to discuss. The first one being building out the first iteration of pre-received secret detection. So what this does is we're introducing a new pre-received check that will detect secrets prior to any code being pushed to a repository. How this differs from our current approach is right now, any secrets that we are detecting are being, or any secrets that we scan for right now are only being detected after they've been added to the repository. So if they're detected, what we should consider them to be already compromised or exposed it could result in post-processing actions such as revoking the secret, rotating that secret, and could be a disruption to some of the developer workflows that are dependent on those secrets. By introducing that pre-received check, we're cutting the risk prior to any secrets being leaked or exposed within the code base. We're catching these secrets earlier on in the development lifecycle, making it a little easier for developers to manage and triage or remediate prior to these results making it to the repository itself. And it also reduces the security risk as a result. Jumping into the next thing, actually, before I jump into the next priority, there is a demo that Serena has put together that does a really great job of showing, this is not the demo, this is an ad. This Serena has done a great job of putting together a demo on how this functionality is expected to work. So please take a look. I'll be sure to link the demo in the video description. The next priority that I want to talk through is we're looking to make improvements towards our GitLab maintained SAST rule set. We've tackled this sort of in a phased approach. In our first phase, we have basically been looking to improve some of the capabilities around auto resolution, which will facilitate some of the rule removals in the next phase. So what we've done is made improvements to the workers, or made optimizations to those workers that process vulnerabilities that are no longer detected as a result of removing rules. So that's been done. We've also started removing these low efficacy or low value rules. We've done it language by language to reduce risk. And right now we're about halfway through this list, hoping to get through the rest of this list the next few weeks. Moving on from that, we'll then start to enhance detection logic for existing rules, as well as add new rules for gaps in our coverage that we've identified. That will be a little bit more of an involved effort, but we will we'll be, I think we have some issues created in this epic right now with some early ideas of how we want to approach this. So take a look if you're interested. Moving on from that, we'll also look to standardize and update the metadata for all the GitLab maintained rules. What this will look like is right now, for instance, we have some inconsistencies across mappings for these rules. One example is OWASP. So right now, there are a handful of rules within our GitLab maintained SAST rule set that contain OWASP 2017 mappings. Not all of them have these mappings. And also, we'd like to add additional classifications such as OWASP 2021 mappings, possibly even CWE top 25. In order to do so, we want to make sure we start out with a consistent foundation. And then once we introduce a new category or classification of mapping, we're able to do so across all of our rules. So that's kind of what this fourth phase will entail. There might be some parts of this that jump above phase 3, but more to come on that. I'd also like to talk through two front-end related or user experience improvements that we're working on. One of them is a second iteration of displaying MR findings within VS Code. So currently the iteration that has been shipped is currently displaying the name as well as the description. This next iteration we're working on will make it a little more in line with what you see in the MR widget today, which includes adding the scanner, the tool, information to help you basically triage or understand what this vulnerability is and where it came from. So that's one. The other UX improvement we're looking to make is also displaying those MR widget, or sorry, these security findings within the MR changes tab, specifically focused on SAS findings and code quality violations in this iteration. So what will happen is you'll be able to see an icon within the diff. And once you click on that, you'll get a popover, which leads to a drawer with that detailed information on what's happening with that finding. Initially, this will probably stick to having just a similar amount of information, read only, and then the follow-up iteration will look to expand that so that you can action on these results as well as cycle through them. I'm going to stop sharing and then talk through some of the challenges. So one challenge that I'd like to talk about is just the increased maintenance burden that we have with associated with maintaining around 12 analyzers. Sometimes we get a lot of requests for help across various analyzers. This results in us needing to context switch in order to tackle one specific issue, which may not apply to other analyzers. So it's a lot of building up that context for that particular analyzer, seeing which team member has that context, and also doing some knowledge sharing so that not only one person is addressing that one analyzer. This leads to kind of slower development on new features. So working towards consolidating some of those analyzers to our SemGraph-based analyzer, or some of those rule sets to our SemGraph-based analyzers should hopefully reduce that maintenance burden. A couple things that I'm proud of are the guardrails that we put in place the guardrails and the tooling that we put in place to support rule enhancements. So previously, this has been a large blind spot for us. Anytime we've made any sort of rule change or pattern change within secret detection, usually our feedback mechanism is customer feedback through customer escalations or through requests for help. We've recently pivoted that into more of a data-driven approach. So we've built a tool that basically analyzes a large number of repositories and gives you some output that shows how many new vulnerabilities were detected with the changes you made, as well as metrics around scan duration, metrics around the scan itself that will help you evaluate whether or not the change you've made is positive or a regression. So I'm really proud of that because it's led to us identifying new secret detection regex patterns with a high false positive rate, so we can make adjustments to that, therefore improving our accuracy. It's also led to it's the foundation for another tool that we're developing, which will add some of these guardrails into the merge request pipeline for when we're developing these rules. The last thing I want to talk about that I'm really proud of is the collaboration that our group has had working on all of these priorities I've mentioned, as well as working with other groups within the development org or other stable counterparts. We've just been doing a really great job of evaluating approaches, considering approaches from other team members, but then also keeping our emphasis on short-term iterative value while not forgetting about the long-term vision of secret detection or other initiatives that we would like to continue building off of. So just to summarize, I've been very, very, very impressed with how we've been collaborating, especially with the development of these features that I've talked about. So yeah, if you have any questions about anything that I've talked about, please reach out to us in the static analysis Slack channel, or leave some questions in the team day agendas. Happy to answer those as a result. Sorry for going a little over the 5 minutes, but that's okay. Hope you have a great team day and look forward to talking to you all soon. Thank you.